Hello and welcome to the Toromont Podcast. Today I've got Andrew Moebus. Did I pronounce that correctly?
You sure did.
Okay. He is our mining and application specialist, and he's here to talk about looking for efficiencies in load and haul applications.
Yeah. So really, John, what I find I spend a lot of my time doing is going out to mine sites and just looking at what's happening, looking for efficiency and ways to get one more truckload out every shift, or however you measure that out. It's really going through that. So I find I end up doing these quick hit surface mine site inspections where I'm going out, and if it's my first time there or I'm coming back again, haven't been there in a while, I go out and I got to drive around and get a real quick idea of where are some of the spots that I think there's opportunity, and often I'll end up corroborating them with the people in the site, whether it's a supervisor or a manager. So I wanted to talk you through a few of the things I look at and hit a few of the spots. So if we break the site down into three areas: the load area, so the pit floors, the ramps and the haul roads, and the dump points, we want to make sure we get out and all around to all those and have a look. So two things are going to come back, and I'm going to contextualize them a little bit, but two little things I look for. And the first is you get yourself set up in your truck and you go out, and we're going to head out. And I've got my nice big Earl Gray tea. And what are you drinking?
I just got a coffee.
Just a coffee.
Just a coffee.
Just a black coffee.
That's right.
All right. So you got your black coffee. I got my Earl Gray tea. We take our lids off, and we start driving down the haul road. And we're going to head down from the office down to the shovel, and we're going to go 60 kilometers per hour. What do you think is going to happen at a good mine site?
Good mine site. Hopefully nothing will happen to my coffee.
Exactly, right? So that's what I call the 60 kilometer an hour test. On a good road, if you're driving down on a good paved road, you can definitely do this, right? No big deal. You can go 100 kilometers an hour with an open-lidded coffee. At a mine site with a good thing, it's going to get you there. And one of the reasons for this is it's helping us, with those improvements, it's going to make you go faster, be more productive. It's going to make you safer, and it's going to keep that equipment, the longevity is going to grow. The other thing that I look at is sort of the is it obvious question, right? So when I come down and I'm going and looking at an area, I want to be able to say, is it obvious what's happening here? And we'll talk to that in some of those spots. So we've got in our truck, we've driven down, we're down to the load site, and we're approaching the shovel or loader or excavator. And we're getting there, and we're driving 60 kilometers per hour. And what that's going to tell us is the grade maintained? Is the pit floor flat? We're going to look for the drainage, make sure that the water's there, and that kind of fits into the is it obvious side of things, right? Is the driving pattern clear and obvious? That's going to help us too. If you come down, think about what happens when you hit a parking lot. Are you going as fast as you are on the road?
No, you slow down.
Right? So if I'm slowing down because I'm not sure whether am I going to go park over here, I'm going to go park over here. Haul trucks, it's the same thing. As we're coming in and we get into that load site, if it's obvious and clear and he sees his parking spot and he knows where his parking spot is, he's going to be able to park there. And that's going to help him cover that 60 kilometer an hour thing. On the way back out, it's also going to help those trucks leave under full power. After they're loaded, can they put their foot down and take off? Right? We want to see them being able to leave in a straight line for as long as they can. We want to line ourselves up that way. Is it obvious? Right? Is the progression of the digging clear? Can I look at what the shovel or excavator or loader operator is doing and say, I see what he's doing. I can predict where he's going to be next truck, half an hour, next shift, almost, and know those things. Do the trucks know where to go? Talked about that. It helps them speed up, get there. If they know where to go, you're going to be able to get them in and out of there. And that talks to one of the things I look for when I'm watching trucks doing their thing around a loader is zero exchange time. So zero exchange time really is being able to get truck A gone and truck B in and underneath that loading tool in the time it takes that loading tool to swing, fill its bucket, and swing back and be ready to dump. If I can get my truck out and the next one back in that time frame, then I'm not interrupting that shovel's dig cycle. And that's going to really speed things up. A lot of mine sites, that's a big thing you can see. So now we're off, our truck's taken off, and our haul truck's heading down the road. And we're going to start looking at our ramps and our haul roads. So the 60 kilometer an hour rule, what I'm looking for there, and what that's going to help me show is, particularly in a large truck, is we want to look at our width of our roads. Your width of your roads should be 3 truckloads minimum on straightaways And we'd like to see that stretched out to 3.5, 4 trucks wide when you've got curves. That's going to help you with your sight lines, you know, at your ramps and your intersections. You're going to be able to see, again, like we were talking about in the parking lot. You know, when you approach an intersection, what happens?
You slow down.
Exactly, right? So, but if you're hitting that intersection on a major highway where it's got a clover and it's got a roundabout, you're not slowing down at that intersection, right? So there's ways to set up these intersections. That was a bit of an extreme one, but there's ways to set up intersections so that we can be maintaining our speed through different stuff. So we're watching those intersections. Does that intersection's traffic plan make sense with what's happening at the mine site now in terms of the volumes of traffic? And my stop signs oriented right? That kind of thing. You know, looking at steady grade is another thing we want to look for. And this is more than just trying to eyeball it and squirt it out. You can feel it, again, doing that 60 kilometer an hour test. But also looking at the berms. We're going to look at those berms for spill rock. In the middle or on the side, we want to look for washboarding. One of the tricks for looking at berms and seeing spill rock is you look at those berms and you see something of a different color. You'll see, or it's often a different color from your waist, you'll see it in the berms. And you know that's a spot where maybe the grade's changing, whether it's a hard transition that's spilling things out the back, or whether it's a shift point that's causing something to shake on the truck. You're going to shake some stuff loose.
Or would it also be that basically the turn is too tight?
That's another one. You can see a real tight turn. It's throwing rocks off the side to the outside of the turn. Some good old centrifugal force there. So berm heights, you know, we're talking about looking at the berms. Your berm heights, we want those to be half the height of the largest tire. So if you've got a 10-foot tire is your largest tire on your biggest truck or loader, you want your berm to be 5 feet. The other thing while we're driving around these roads, you know, sipping away at our black coffee and our tea, is we want to see, are the graders working? We want to see those guys running around with nice full mold boards with loads on them, actually moving dirt, not just chasing pet rocks. So now we're through, we're growing, we're getting out to our dumps, whether that's in a waste dump or at our crusher. It's really going to be very similar. What we want to see is it clear where we want to go? Are we maintaining a single path? One of the big things that I see at dumps all the time is everybody just sort of goes on a straight line A to B, and because you're moving across and that dump point's constantly shifting where you're dropping those loads, that A to B is constantly changing, and you've got a whole field of rock that needs to be maintained. The real mine sites that really seem to have this one locked down is you keep a single path out to the tip face, and that maintains your 1 3-lane or 3 truck width wide path out there, rather than maintaining an entire dump to be able to run on. And we get out to that tip face, we want to be moving in a clockwise pattern. That allows the operator's cab to be out near the edge so that he can spot the edge and see what's happening out there, looking for cracking. And it also keeps us right near where that dozer is working. So that dozer who's pushing perpendicular and pushing those loads off, he can quickly turn and start running parallel. That's a good little tip that I talk to guys a lot about. Turning that dozer parallel and smoothing out his track marks and smoothing out that running path right next to that tip edge. That helps him clean that up and prevent some of that washboarding and getting some of that spill rock that can cut tires out. You know, so there's our 60 kilometer an hour rule. Is it obvious? Is the road defined? You know, like I said. And berms, you know, we want to be keeping them, again, the same thing. We want to keep them nice and tip. That's something that mine inspectors will look for a lot. Is that berm half the wheel height? Right? So looking around with those things, typically, you know, I'll try to go out on my own and mix that up and look at all those different things, and then head out with somebody that I want to get engaged, somebody who's there all the time, and help getting their feelings, because often it'll draw things out within the context of these, and I often find that those are very easy ways to really land on the next projects for identifying good continuous improvement.
Excellent. Andrew, just wanted to thank you for your time, and you know what? If anybody has any ideas or has any feedback in regards to this topic or any of the other topics, please contact us on social media, and we'll do whatever we can to kind of record what you would like. Have a great day. Thank you.
Thanks, guys.